Okay, Lisa Llewellyn here, just doing another news article. This one is from The Guardian, and if I ever want to laugh, I always read a Guardian article because it's just so libtardy that it's a complete joke, really. And it's supposed to be such a reputable newspaper, and yet it really does come off as some seriously loony left-wing nonsense. So let's have a look at this article on Trump winning the Electoral College. A picture right on top here. Electoral, save us. Dump Trump. Nobody can save you. You're lost. Okay? For the Liberals, most horrified by the coming coronation of Donald Trump, the last stand is the Electoral College. And this is a bit out of date. Now, this is a couple of days out of date. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's quite funny. On Monday, that was Monday past, 538 electors will gather in America's 50 state capitals to cast their ballots for the next president. They can vote any way they choose. But since the beginning of the presidency system, there has never been a case in recorded history where the Electoral College, caused the president who was elected by the people at the election day to be, to not be president. The Electoral College never threw it out, meaning that the person that the people voted for president always became president, because generally the Electoral College will go ahead and support the decision of the people. But there will be one or two people in one or two states who may change, and this is what we find has happened here. Continuing the article, they tried to convince the electors the anti-Trump supporters tried to convince the electors to defy the voters of their states to block Trump. The incendiary Republican incendiary, you see, lighting everything up on fire. This is how they describe him, with authoritarian impulses. So they make it sound really like he's really going to take over the country and just start bossing everybody about and being awful authoritarian. Not that any other leaders ever been an authoritarian. And somehow they're hoping that to somehow elect Hillary Clinton or anyone else, as the Guardian article says, is a fantasy, but it's a potent one. Skimming down. There are many reasons to refile this quirk of American democracy. It renders the popular vote meaningless and disenfranchises populous states at the expense of smaller, more rural states now exerting outsized influence upon the political system. Trump, like George W. Bush before him, will take office having won fewer votes than his opponent. An oddity that rightfully perplexes people around the world. This is a Guardian classic. They say that it's an oddity. Okay? That they're talking here about the Electoral College, a very well-designed system that, incidentally, Hillary Clinton was in total agreement with before she did the election. She never complained about it. She didn't say we want this system removed. She was quite happy about it, as were all the Clinton voters, because they thought she was going to win, so there's no problem. Obama got in through the Electoral College system, same as every other president in America. No one complained before, but now they're complaining that the system is quirky, it's an oddity, people are right to refine it. It says here, it favors these small little states, over bigger states and so on. It's total nonsense. It's a very well worked out, fair system, more fair than just taking a popular vote, which would actually, taking the popular vote, as the Guardian seems to be implying, would be better. Doing that would actually be more unfair, because you would get large states like California, which have a higher population, basically having power over just about every other state. So California is where Clinton got most votes from. If you'd gone by the popular vote, California and New York would have got what they wanted. And New York, another large state, populous state, they would have got what they wanted, but all these other parts of America would have suffered because of it. Whereas the electoral system allows a more spread out view across the country, where you get a greater number of states with all the different viewpoints having more of a say. And why is that important to have more states having a say as you get with an electoral college system? It's more important because it means that if you don't like the way a state does something, you can move to another state. Whereas the system that The Guardian and these other Libtard publications are seen to be suggesting would be better, would be a system whereby one or two large states would get everything that they wanted, and everybody else would have to toe the line with it. See? So the stupidity of what The Guardian is saying here is really unbelievable. And I can only say that they know full well what they're doing, but they're just doing it deliberately to be obtuse, because they're obviously paid by the same people that didn't want Trump in power. So they're told what to say. Let's read on. It's really quite funny. Let's just go down a bit. Trump poses a far more conventional threat. So he's a threat now. One that liberals sometimes ignore as they fume over the alt-right. In inverted commas, because nobody really seems to know what the alt-right is. But anyway, Trump's similarities to long-dead dictators and his erratic tweeting. So here's a Guardian saying that, once again, they're saying Trump's got similarities to dictators. Actually, he has no similarities at all to any dictators. He's very much his own man. He's not like he's not like Hitler. He's not like Mussolini. He's not like Pol Pot. He's just his own person. Whether you consider that authoritarian or not is irrelevant. He's nothing like any of these people. He's in a completely different political climate, in a completely different country. He's actually very socially liberal. He's very in favour of LGBT rights, which Hitler, Mussolini, Pol Pot, and all these previous dictators that they're no doubt referring to were not socially liberal at all. They would have just quite happy to destroy gay people. They weren't particularly big in pushing the women's rights agenda. Trump is for equality of genders. He's employed women at the highest levels of society, and he's actually very socially liberal when it comes to things like gay rights. So how you can even think to compare him to these previous dictators is just, it's insanity verging on extreme insanity, to be honest. And then they say, and his erratic tweeting. So now it's a person is a dangerous dictator because they go on Twitter and show that they say original things. Erratic means original, doesn't it? It means unpredictable. Not doing what's expected. Being an original free thinker, which you're supposed to be as a liberal, aren't you? The Guardian's supposed to support liberal free thinking. And yet when Trump goes on Twitter and shares liberally what he thinks, he's dangerous because he's erratically tweeting on Twitter. He's a threat to the world because of a few words on Twitter. Okay, so let's continue on. This is the insanity we're dealing with here. Unvarnished, uncompromising conservatives. So conservatives never compromise, even though Trump in interviews said that you have to compromise, because if you don't compromise, nothing ever gets done. He said that in an interview. I must pull up the quote if I can find it, the video footage. But anyway, they're saying conservatives are uncompromising, you see, whereas of course the left wing is always compromising, isn't it? Just like Hillary Clinton was prepared to compromise and say that she wasn't going to go to war with Russia, and that she changed her mind about that. No, she didn't. She didn't change her mind. Neither did Obama. They just kept doing the same thing. They wouldn't listen to reason. They wouldn't change. They wouldn't compromise what they thought was right. So really, the only people that were uncompromising was actually the Democrats. Anyway, carrying on. In 2017, Trump will be in a position to rubber stamp a Republican agenda that threatens, there's that word again, it keeps saying threatens. So, how is it threatening anything? But let's carry on. It threatens to eviscerate the remnants of the New Deal consensus. New Deal consensus? I mean, most people don't even know what that is. It's just a meaningless phrase to say that it's going to eviscerate the remnants of a New Deal. Everything is always new. Everything has to be changed. Everything has to be updated. There's a new deal. There's always a new deal coming in with each government, isn't there? To suit the times we're living in. You can't just keep the old deal and keep calling it a new deal, okay? That's too is just a meaningless sentence. If he erratically swerves left, so they actually admit Trump could eradicate, could go more to the left in politics, which he's actually done anyway. He's not that right wing. He's right wing with border control, with illegal aliens and immigrants, but he's quite left wing when it comes to LGBT rights, for instance. So, you know, he's a mixture of right and left. But anyway, they're saying if he goes towards the left, Mike Pence and other purebreds surrounding him will keep him mostly in line. So they're saying, okay, if Trump goes a bit more liberal and, you know, goes left wing, oh, it's not going to work out because Pence is so right wing, he'll drag him back over. Well, let's just look at that a moment. How silly that is. Who is the president? Pence or Trump? Obviously Trump. Right? And any time that Pence has been asked about his more right-wing views, such as gay marriage and that, it really hasn't made any difference. He's been quite evasive about it because in the end, well, take another example. This video is going to be over long, but there was recently Pence. I saw a video where Pence was being asked what his views were now about, you know, trade deals, and he was all about free trade, and Trump was putting these tariffs, wanted tariffs put in trade so that American people receive a better deal in the trade deals rather than being ripped off by other countries. And this person kept pressing Pence, saying over and over again that you don't agree with Trump. You used to say that you want a free trade and Trump doesn't. So who's right? You or President Trump? And Pence said, oh, Mr. Trump is right. In other words, he's saying that he's made mistakes in the past, but he'll go with whatever Trump wants now because he knows Trump has got a good angle on these things. So he's not going to drag Trump anyway. He knows Trump is the leader, and Pence knows he has to support Trump. So this is just another piece of Guardian propaganda. Left-wing propaganda as well, obviously. Democrats must force Trump to own his failures, as if he hasn't owned his failures and dealt with them in the past. When they hold him to account when his lofty promises to uplift the white working class inevitably are not fulfilled. Trump has never said that he's going to uplift the white working class. That's what you guys on the left said. Trump never said that. Trump said he was going to uplift everybody, all of the working class, of all colours and all races. And he repeated that again in a recent rally, and in his post-presidential talks and speeches, he has also said that. So he's never used that phrase, I'm going to help the white working class, full stop. He's not said that. You guys made that up, okay? So you need to own that. Okay, I don't want this video to go much longer, but I'll just sum up and say that, yeah, it says at the bottom here, but a closely divided Senate will lead many opportunities for Chuck Schumer, the Democratic minority leader, to frustrate Trump. And he should. Why should he? Why should he be frustrating someone that the public has voted for? You know, this is, you know, because it's not going to change anything. He's still going to be president. So this is another classic Libtard article from The Guardian. I'll be doing a lot more. I mean, just for a quick point, look at some of the comments that you'll see in some of these Guardian articles. People are not buying it. They're not buying what The Guardian's saying. So, anyway, I want to wrap it up now because it's almost 15 minutes. So it's peace out for now.